It's so cool to think that we have eyes on the front of our head, and that by having eyes there, we are able to focus in. We can dissect something. We can look upon a piece of the world and make sense of it. Cattle, prey, have eyes on the side of their head. And so this lets them scan their environment. Look at the periphery. What's going on? Panoramic view it gives them. So they can tell when there's predators over here, when the grass is rattling, something's creeping up on them. You got to be able to know. Predators, though, have it right here. You can zoom in. I'm going here. I'm focused. And see, by doing that, by understanding, we evolved. Think about holding a tool up. First tools ever used. These primates, man, we're looking at this shit for hours, and we end up using it and growing. So it's amazing to think that that's understanding how we understand the world, and just, wow, the story. That's how you progress. And so I think a lot of you can relate to this. When I was younger, I had a basement, and I was scared of the basement as soon as the lights went off. Maybe you don't have a basement, just a dark room, but as soon as you turn those lights off, you get the hell out of there. I was scared shitless of the dark. And there was demons lurking there. There was monsters. Something's in the dark out to get me. Imagine if you heard a noise. Holy shit. That'd scare you even more. But I had the courage, the audacity a couple times I would stay there. And I remember I would feel this, guys. I feel it now. The hair stood up on the back of my neck. A tingling sensation. Warmth, strength, I don't know. I was there. I knew I wasn't going to get hurt. Okay? Because the transition from my teenage years, or from childhood to teenage, it's I knew I wasn't going to get hurt. The dark is an illusion. What lurks in the dark is an illusion in my basement. Maybe out in the wild, but not in my basement. And so I stood up to it because I know I wouldn't get hurt. And so it's the ability to focus in on that without letting the illusions, because imagine if you continued running up the stairs the rest of your life. You ran out of your room every time you flicked off the light. It's you build up an illusion of what is, that it's unexplored territory. You've never been in it. So imagine how life is like that, guys. Think about the story. I love this story of Peter and Jesus in the Bible. Jesus come out to me. He's I'm coming, my Lord. And he steps out into the water, and his eyes are on Jesus. Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. Remember this? And so he begins walking, and his eyes are on the way. The obstacle is the way. His eyes are on the truth, Jesus, standing there in the other boat. And he begins to walk. And then what ends up happening is he looks down. And the moment that he looks down, he starts to flail. He starts to drown, and he gets scared. It's just, think about that. You're walking on water, you look down, and what do you think? Oh my God, you took your eyes off of, you were afraid to do it in the first place, but he stepped up to the fear and he began walking, and then he looked down. He let the imagery come in of creatures in the depths. He must have, I would have. Any human, what lurks beneath in the depths could kill you, could swallow you alive. And so he begins to drown because he took his eyes off of the way. And see, man, I just believe that you could live your entire life like that. You could live your life in fear with all these fantasies and imagery of things that you've never had the balls to go up to. It's like that girl that you've been, that 1010, you'll never know how capable of speaking to 1010 hot babes unless you go up and speak to one. You'll never realize how harmless, but in your brain will work it. It'll work it out like it is, man, like it's harmful, like it's like there's just doom. I can only put anxiety in that sense as doom. It's frustrating. It's depressing, man. You want to get out of it quick, and you do that by looking. Focus on it. Don't take your eyes off it. People say, take your eyes off, run away when you get scared. Don't do it. That's the wrong way. Stay focused on what you're afraid of, because what you're afraid of, you can understand that. We have to look at it. Look it in the eye. Just like a human being. Why do the whites of our eyes, we can tell where people are looking. It's so brilliant. You can look at someone else and understand eye contact. Look at your fears in the same way. Bring the same light to that. And when you do, it's, I don't know what it is, primal. I mean, you fight the fight or flight response or freeze. Let me read you this quick passage from this book. We're in deep now. This was just brought to me last night. This is The Eye of the World, and I'm about 200 pages in. Rand is your main character, and 3 of these guardsmen from the town that he's in go up to him. They're scary dudes, and he's scared shitless. But you know what? He stands his ground, and this is what happens. It says, a tingling thrill ran along Rand's arms and legs. He felt flushed, almost warm. A couple sentences go by. The tingling filled Rand. The heat had grown to a fever. He wanted to laugh. It felt so good. A small voice in his head shouted that something was wrong, but all I could think of was how full of energy he felt, nearly bursting with it. Smiling, he rocked on his heels and waited for what was going to happen. Vaguely, distantly, he wondered what it would be. He stood his ground, guys. It's so crazy. You can live your life thinking of the world as dangerous. You can think of women as dangerous. You can think of this job as dangerous. You can think of, public speaking, for me, that's dangerous. Why are we scared of these things? It's because we never do them. And so what do? You take small steps to do it. You take small steps that lead you to a place, a exposure to that stimuli will numb it after a while. If you do the thing you fear the most, the death of fear is certain. And so you do it over and over. Or you just jump to the top, you do it, it's not going to kill you, and then you realize, holy shit, it's not that bad. It feels pretty damn good. It might hurt your ego a little bit, but damn, I did it. I'm a goddamn man. It feels good. And so that's so cool for our lives. I mean, to focus what we're afraid of. Jordan Peterson said something so cool, because public speaking has been a fear of mine, and I applied this today. I was only speaking in front of 4 people, giving a little presentation at work. But he said, when you are speaking to an audience, don't think about speaking to the entire audience. He's like, your mind sees that as chaos. It's like all these people trying to talk to every single one. It's like, no, focus on one. Don't look away. That's what he's saying. Don't look away at your fear, guys. Look at one person. You know how to speak to one person. Most of us do, okay? And no, it's hard sometimes to even do one. But at least it's not chaos. It's not like so chaotic. Your brain can make sense. It talks to one person. Other people are mirroring each other in the room. Usually what your message is saying is that person's reacting to it, and everyone else is sort of reacting in the same way. And so, much easier. All we're doing is telling our brain, look, this shit ain't that scary. Stop making monsters in the dark. Go and investigate. I remember when I investigated, man, I got that thrill. I got that same tingling, euphoric sensation. And it's only the wind. You find out it's only the wind making that noise in the dark. Maybe a little mouse. It's not some monster lurking, ready to kill you. That's how it feels, though. And so equip yourself with the truth, man. Don't take your eyes off the truth. I love it. I mean, Marcus Aurelius said the impediment to action, which means the obstacle, advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. I've never looked at it like that. I was just like, take so much action, it shuts down the thinking mind. But it's like, it not only does that, what it does is it totally tears down the framework and the whole thing that you have structured within your brain, this story, this narrative, and it rewrites it. That's what it does. That's what action does. It rewrites the story. Now you can begin to enjoy life. Great talk, guys. Day 87, no fap, going strong. Hope you guys have a great night. Peace.